She might look like everything you've ever wanted, but the wrong woman with the right body can still destroy a good man's soul. Don't let her beauty blind you, because not every seductive smile comes with a pure heart. You see, sometimes beauty can blind you. A woman can walk into your life and leave you breathless. Her laugh is intoxicating, her curves unforgettable, her energy magnetic. And before you know it, you're all in, but not because of who she is. You're drawn to what she makes you feel in the moment. There's a difference between the woman who knows how to seduce you and the woman who knows how to support you. One excites your body, the other elevates your soul. Now, don't get me wrong. Chemistry is powerful, but chemistry without character, that's a ticking time bomb. She may make the night unforgettable, but ask yourself, does she make your life stable? There's a kind of woman who knows how to be everything you want for a weekend. She knows your rhythm in bed. She knows the right words when she wants something. She even makes you believe you've found her. But when the sheets are cold and real life sets in, you start noticing things. She disrespects your time. She manipulates with silence. She doesn't inspire you to grow, she distracts you from your purpose. She's the woman who thrives in attention but falls apart in commitment. The kind who posts more than she connects. The kind who wants your money but not your mission. She'll dance with your ego but not stand with your struggle. And the sad part is, many men stay because they confuse lust for love, because they think peace is boring and chaos means passion. But here's the truth no one tells you. You don't build a future with a woman who only knows how to light up a room. You build it with someone who knows how to hold you down when the lights go out. The woman who's good for one night will always make you chase. But the woman who's good for your life will walk beside you, not in front, not behind. She'll challenge you without tearing you down. She'll speak with clarity, not confusion. She won't need to weaponize her beauty because her presence is her power. If a woman only shows up when it benefits her, if her consistency depends on your wallet, if your peace dies every time she enters the room, then I need you to stop, pause, and ask yourself, am I falling for what I see or choosing what I need? Because when the wrong woman gets access to the right man, damage happens. But when the right man learns to say no to temporary pleasure, he creates room for a permanent blessing. So don't let a pretty moment cost you a powerful future. She's beautiful. The kind of beautiful that turns heads when she walks into a room. Her smile, her scent, her confidence, it all hits you at once. You feel drawn in, like gravity itself is pulling you closer to her. She knows how to talk, how to laugh, how to make you feel like you're the only man in the world. And for a moment, you believe you've hit the jackpot. She's everything you imagined on the surface. But if you pause long enough, you'll start to notice the cracks beneath the glow. Because while her beauty captures your attention, her behavior reveals the truth. She'll make you feel like you need to earn her, not in a healthy way that inspires growth, but in a toxic way that keeps you chasing her validation. She doesn't give consistently, she gives when she wants something. Her compliments come with conditions. Her attention comes with a price. One day she's warm and affectionate, the next she's cold and distant, leaving you confused, questioning yourself, wondering what changed. You'll try harder, give more, overcompensate, and that's exactly what she wants, not because she loves you, but because she loves control. You start noticing how often she speaks about what she deserves, but rarely about what she brings to the table. She demands, but doesn't deliver. She wants a king, but refuses to be a queen. She expects loyalty, respect, consistency, but offers none of it in return. She uses her body as a weapon, not for intimacy, but for leverage. Sex becomes transactional, a reward for compliance, not an expression of love. She knows her power and she uses it not to connect with you, but to manipulate you. She doesn't want to build, she wants to benefit. She's not interested in your mission, your vision, your purpose. She's interested in the lifestyle, the perks, the spotlight. She will support you only when it suits her. When things get tough, she pulls away. When you need her most, she becomes unavailable. You'll feel alone even when you're with her, like you're sharing space with someone who's only half present. And yet you'll convince yourself that this is love, because the highs are intoxicating. But deep down, you feel is something's off. You start losing yourself. You begin to shrink to keep the peace. Your goals get blurry. Your mind becomes anxious. Your heart is heavy, but your pride keeps you quiet. You don't want to admit that you've fallen for someone who only shows up when it benefits her. You try to justify her actions, blame yourself, excuse her behavior. But deep inside, you know the truth. You've confused desire with value. You've let lust cloud your judgment. You've mistaken beauty for character. A low-valued woman isn't defined by how she looks, but by how she treats you when there's nothing left for her to gain. It's in how she respects your time, how she supports your growth, how she handles conflict, how she responds when the attention fades. A low-value woman will never bring peace to your life because she doesn't have peace within herself. She'll expect you to fix her insecurities, heal her wounds, carry her baggage, all while never acknowledging your own need. And the longer you stay, the more you lose. Time, energy, focus, self-worth. She drains you, not because she's evil, but because she's empty. She craves love, but doesn't know how to give it. She wants commitment, but refuses to grow for it. She seeks validation from the world, but not alignment with herself. He talks about self-love, but uses men to fill the void. She'll post about confidence, yet crumbles without attention. The image she presents is polished, seductive, filtered to perfection, but behind that curated feed is someone who fears being unseen. Her validation doesn't come from within, it comes from the compliments, the stares, the DMs, and she needs it constantly, like a fix. She doesn't know how to be alone with herself, because silence forces her to face everything she avoids. So she distracts herself with dates, parties, likes, and short-lived flings, always seeking, never satisfied. She wants the title of a queen, but she doesn't live by queen energy. She hasn't built herself. She hasn't done the inner work. She just learned how to play the role long enough to attract the kind of man who has. And when she gets him, she doesn't know what to do with him, because a high-value man requires more than a pretty face. He needs substance. He needs emotional maturity. He needs a woman who doesn't just want to take, but one who knows how to pour into him, not just when things are fun, but when life gets heavy. But she can't give what she doesn't have, so instead she performs. She becomes the fantasy until the performance exhausts her. Then her real self shows, and what's left is inconsistency, mood swings, entitlement, and a lack of accountability. She will rarely apologize. If anything goes wrong, it's always someone else's fault. She plays the victim in every story. When you confront her with your feelings, she'll twist the narrative until you're the one apologizing. She'll weaponize her pain, her past, her tears, and if you care, you'll get caught in the loop trying to heal her, rescue her, fix her, But you'll only end up drained, confused, and resenting yourself for staying so long. You'll mistake chaos for passion. You'll call it love because it feels intense. But love isn't supposed to hurt more than it heals. And eventually, you'll start to see that every good moment comes with conditions. Her affection isn't free. It's earned through compliance, submission, silence, or spending. Her presence is loud, but her depth is shallow. You can talk to her for hours and still feel like you've said nothing. She doesn't ask about your purpose, your fears, your values. She asks what car you drive, where you vacation, who you know, what you can offer. And if you don't give her what she expects, she withdraws. Her interest fades. Because for her, people are not for connection, they're for consumption. Relationships are not sacred, they're strategic. She calls it standards, but what she really has is a price tag. You'll start noticing how she talks about other women. Always comparing, always competing. Because she sees them as threats, not sisters. She thrives on being the center of attention, even if it means tearing others down. If you try to build her up, she'll question your intentions. If you give her space to grow, she'll accuse you of neglect. If you prioritize yourself, she'll call it selfish. There's no winning with her because she's not looking for a partner, she's looking for power. And when she doesn't get it, she punishes with silence, sarcasm, or seduction. She might look irresistible, but her energy is unpredictable. One day, she'll be the sweetest thing you've ever known. The next, she'll be distant, passive-aggressive, impossible to reach. She'll use words like vibe and energy to justify her lack of effort. But the truth is, she lacks emotional discipline. She doesn't regulate herself, she reacts. And you'll find yourself walking on eggshells, unsure what version of her you'll get today. You'll shrink, filter your words, overthink every text, not out of respect, but out of fear. Not of her strength, but of her instability. She'll tell you she's different. And in the beginning, you'll believe her. The way she looks at you, the way she touches you, the way she makes you feel like you're the only man in the world, it's addictive. She'll study your weaknesses like a script and play into your needs like a game she's already mastered. Her timing is perfect, her words are carefully chosen, and her presence feels like a high. You begin to imagine a future with her, not realizing she's only showing you what she wants you to see. It's not who she is, it's who she wants you to believe she is. And by the time the mask starts to slip, you're already invested. You've opened your heart, you've dropped your guard. You've begun to ignore the red flags because the fantasy felt so good. She knows how to create moments that feel intimate, but they aren't rooted in real connection. She talks a lot about herself, her needs, her dreams, but rarely asks about yours unless it benefits her. When you speak about your struggles or your fears, she listens just long enough to redirect the spotlight. Empathy isn't her strength, performance is, and she performs well. She knows how to cry when it's convenient, how to act wounded when she's wrong, how to flip the script so you question your instincts. She plays innocent to escape accountability and seductive to regain control. It's not love she's offering, it's manipulation dressed as affection. She doesn't believe in building with you. She believes in being handed the finished product. She won't sacrifice, compromise, or contribute. Her version of support is showing up when things are fun, when your money is right, when your attention is fully on her. But the moment your focus shifts to your purpose, she becomes restless. She wants to be your priority, not your partner. She doesn't want to grow with you. She wants to benefit from what you've already built. And if you fall, she won't be there to help you rise. She'll either leave or make you feel like your struggle is an inconvenience to her comfort. Her confidence is often loud because it's fragile. She talks down on other women to elevate herself. She needs to feel superior, even in relationships. She competes with your ambition, your time, your family, even your peace. You'll notice how quickly she becomes jealous, how often she accuses, how deeply she fears being replaced. But she hides it behind jokes, sarcasm, and subtle digs. She tests you, not to strengthen the bond, but to see how far she can push before you break. And when you finally do, she plays the victim, calling you toxic, controlling, or emotionally unavailable. She's not nurturing, she doesn't comfort, she critiques, she doesn't soften when you're vulnerable, she exploits it. And yet, her physical affection keeps you confused. She knows how to use touch as a distraction, how to reconnect sexually without ever addressing the emotional damage. The intimacy feels deep, but it's shallow. You'll leave her bed feeling empty, not because the act was wrong, but because the connection was missing. And every time you try to speak on it, she dismisses your concerns, labels you too sensitive, or shifts the blame entirely. Her goals are often superficial, centered around how things look rather than what they mean. She wants a relationship that looks perfect on Instagram, but is disconnected in real life. She's more focused on appearances than alignment. You'll find yourself showing up for someone who doesn't truly see you, giving to someone who only knows how to take. Over time, you'll begin to lose yourself, not all at once, but in pieces. You'll laugh less, sleep worse, second guess your worth. You'll start asking why love feels like pressure instead of peace, why you feel lonelier with her than you did alone. She'll claim she wants a real man, someone who can lead, protect, and provide. But the moment you begin to lead, she resists. She wants authority without submission, love without responsibility, attention without reciprocation. Her idea of relationship is rooted in control, not connection. If you speak up, you're attacking her. If you set boundaries, you're controlling. If you ask for respect, you're insecure. She knows how to twist the narrative so that everything becomes your fault. And you'll find yourself apologizing just to keep the peace. Not because you're wrong, but because you're tired of the conflict. You'll begin to silence yourself, not out of love, but survival. She doesn't value consistency. She craves excitement, drama, emotional roller coasters, disguised as passion. She equates peace with boredom and chaos with chemistry. If things are going well, she'll start a fight just to feel alive. She doesn't want stability, she wants stimulation. And if you're not careful, you'll confuse her emotional volatility for depth. You'll think her jealousy is proof that she cares, her mood swings a sign of her complexity, her withdrawal a test of your loyalty. But what you're really experiencing is someone who doesn't know how to regulate their own emotions, so they manipulate yours instead. You'll notice how often she talks about what she deserves, but rarely about what she offers. Her list of expectations is long, but her self-awareness is short. She wants a man with vision, but has none of her own. She expects emotional intelligence, but responds with passive aggression. She desires loyalty, but maintains a rotation of men for validation. When you ask for exclusivity, she calls you possessive. When you ask for effort, she calls you demanding. You'll always feel like you're asking for too much, when in reality, she's giving far too little. She doesn't handle accountability well. When caught in a lie, she doubles down. When corrected, she gets defensive. When you try to express your feelings, she makes it about her. You'll hear things like, "You're overthinking. You're too sensitive. That's just how I am." She uses detachment as a defense and sarcasm as a shield. And if she's ever cornered, she'll cry, not out of remorse, but as a diversion. She knows tears disarm, so she uses them not as an expression of emotion, but as a tactic of control. Her independence is performative. She wants to be seen as strong, but uses people as stepping stones. She talks about not needing anyone, yet constantly leans on others for emotional and financial support. She'll make you feel guilty for helping, then resentful when you don't. She thrives on double standards, expecting you to carry her burdens while refusing to help with yours. And if you ever express disappointment, she'll accuse you of being ungrateful for all she's done, even if all she gave were the bare minimum. In conversations, she talks over you. She listens to respond, not to understand. She interrupts, deflects, and minimizes. You'll feel like you're always explaining yourself, always defending your intentions, always trying to prove your loyalty. But loyalty to her feels like a one-way street. She'll demand transparency while hiding her own life in shadows. She'll expect immediate replies while taking hours to respond. She'll post thirst traps online but expect you to ignore every woman in your life. The hypocrisy is subtle at first, then blatant. And if you try to leave, she'll switch personas. Suddenly, she becomes everything you wanted in the beginning: affectionate, attentive, apologetic. She'll promise to change, to grow, to be better. But it's temporary, because her change is reactive, not intentional. She improves just enough to reel you back in, and once you stay, the cycle begins again. You'll realize you're not in love. You're trauma bonded. You're addicted to the highs and conditioned to survive the lows. You'll wonder where the love went, not knowing it was never really there. It was just attention, dressed up as affection, delivered in doses to keep you dependent. So when you find yourself questioning your peace, losing your purpose, and shrinking to stay loved, take a step back and look again. A woman who is truly for you will never make you feel like you have to beg for her softness, earn her respect, or fight for her loyalty. You deserve more than beauty that blinds and intimacy that drains. You deserve someone who builds with you, not breaks you down. Protect your heart, protect your mind, and above all, protect your future. Because not every woman you desire is meant to be your destiny.